Attention, everyone. Okay, testing. Okay. Okay, I was actually going to do an intro, but Fire XYZ already is redeeming a Jim story slash humor, and we're going to we're gonna find a good one. Let's see, Jim humor. Okay, Fire XYZ. I've got a good one. And this is kind of a funny one that because it does happen at the gym, and actually I've been guilty of it. It's called crop dusting. At least that's what a couple of my friends call it. Essentially, what it is is people break wind in the gym. Now, that's actually a little more common than you think, especially if someone maybe drank a protein shake and their bodies. If you throw down a good bit of protein, your body's going to have a bit of a tough time to digest it, and so you get some of those undigested, proteins and the bacteria in the intestines fermented into something bad, and a fart comes out, and it smells pretty bad. Because proteins, some amino acids do contain sulfur compounds, and sulfur compounds tend to stink. At farting, an interesting story. When I taught chemistry, I assigned a poster, and apparently a couple guys were joking around and said they wanted to do it about like farting. They were not prepared for my response, and I'm like, well, MythBusters actually did an episode where one of the things was examining farts. If MythBusters can do it, then yeah, I'm gonna let you do it. But hey, if let's say people are crowding around your machine or you're wanting to use a machine, let her rip. Just kidding. Okay. What I have up is first I'm going to talk about the weight training part of my workout. This is my schedule. Today was Tuesday, so I did back and biceps. Column C is calves, abs, and forearms, which I'm going to do tomorrow. And on those days I do calves, abs, and forearms, I also do cardio. I'm going to talk about cardio in a little bit, but I have a Fitbit here. I don't know. I'll take it off temporarily. I have a nice Fitbit. And what I do is I use that also for timing. I usually give about a minute rest between exercises. I want to stay consistent because if let's say you happen to rest 3 minutes, then you're going to be able to lift more. You're going to be able to lift more on your next set, and that's going to throw things off. Also, I tend to write my exercises down. I have a little notebook here, and I'm going to go to my chest and tries. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. But the first two exercises are okay there. First two exercises are uh, seated pec fly, cable crossover, and rotator cuff warm up. And so what I do most days is I tend to do the lighter exercises first. I don't see any need in walking or jogging on the treadmill for 10 minutes if, let's say, you're going to be doing a chest workout. Do some light workouts like seated flies, cable crossovers. Get the blood flowing. I do rotator cuff because of what happened when I was younger, like in my late teens, early 20s, and didn't really know any better. My rotator cuff got irritated by doing heavy benching. And when I mean heavy benching, I think the most I did was 405 for one rep. Now, if that seems an odd number, people who work out with standard barbells, know the importance of that. But another thing I developed is slow movement. Let's see. So I'm going to break out my book again. So if you look under back and buys, you see lat pull down, and you see 40, 45, and 50, and you're like, Moody, you're a wuss. You're a wuss. Well, what happened is when I used to do pull downs, I'd be like, yeah, rah. And turns out the momentum was actually going through the slower half of the movement, which was a weak point. So that's why I tend to go slow. I don't want to have momentum. It's about working the muscle. Unless you're trying to do powerlifting, and then powerlifting, it's about trying to lift as much as you can legally. One thing I tend to do a lot is cable movements and single limb. And why is that? Okay. So I've got a bar here. Sorry, it was time to hit the bar. Boo. Okay. So let's say, I'm going to just say you're doing upright rows. So you're doing upright rows with two hands on a bar. One thing that this does is the two hands gives you more stability. It enables you to lift more weight. So you could do this, let's say you could probably do 60 pounds. And notice, slow movement. I usually try to take it to my nose, full range of motion. Okay, so let's say I do 60. I can do 60 pounds. So, now instead though, what I do is I use dumbbells. So I'm going to let these soup cans just function as dumbbells. And oh, by the way, chicken and stars. Yep. So you may wonder why I'm eating Campbell's soup. I'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to the eating part. But instead what I do is, you notice I do it two separately. I'm using dumbbells. What this does is, see, I no longer have that stabilization. If let's say you're a base, a cheerleading base, you'll notice it's easier to balance someone with two hands versus trying to balance, let's say, a flyer with one hand. You have that extra stability. And you take this away, and so now all of a sudden you can't lift as much weight. And if you think that I'm blowing smoke, let's say you can do 60 pounds with an upright row. Try doing it with two 30-pound dumbbells. You'll probably find that it's a lot tougher. I also go to failure. In other words, I keep going until I can't go anymore, but I don't try to overdo it. That's one thing you want to be careful of. You do not want to overdo it. Sorry, I was looking for something. You overdo it. You could. I forget the name of it. It begins with an RH, but your urine is brown, and you're actually literally breaking down muscle and pissing it out. Now, when I keep doing these exercises, eventually I'm going to adapt. So, for example, here's my back. If you notice, lat pull down was 40, 45, 45. That was my first go around. Here you'll notice in the lat pull down I went 40, 45, 50. So there I got a little stronger. Now I'm going to get to the point where I can maybe do 50 pounds for, let's say, 12 reps. That's when I up the weight. And I've also noticed that I don't have a lot of strength. What I mean by that is, so maybe I start out with like 20 pounds on an exercise and I can do it 16 times. And then I get to 30 pounds and I'm like, I can only do it 4 times. So, I don't have that, like, what I call higher strength. So that's one thing I'm trying to develop. I'm trying to develop that, what I call higher strength. Okay, now, speaking of increasing the weight. Okay, I'm going to talk about an interesting concept with it, which is percentage. Okay. Okay, I'm writing a few things down. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind when you're increasing weight is you have to be aware of percentages. And the reason is it could affect your ability to, it could cause a surprise. Okay, so let's say I'm doing okay. They're letting you know there is an ad break coming up. So what I'm going to do in the ad break is once that starts, use it to take a break. I'm going to take a brief break because honestly, I don't think I'm really wearing appropriate clothing for this stream. So I'm going to change into some more appropriate clothing. Okay, but let's say you're trying to do a 100-pound lat pull down, And let's say you increase the weight by 10 pounds. Well, the percentage increase is, of course, 10, which is how much you increase it by, divided by what you're starting with, which is 100. So 10 over 100 times 100 because it's percent. So it's a 10% increase. So you're probably not going to notice a big decrease in reps. You're probably not going to notice that, oh, I'm doing like my first set I'm like doing 16 and now I mean my first set I'm doing 16 and all of a sudden I increase the weight 10 pounds and now I'm only doing 5. Okay. That's why a lot of people when they're doing heavy bench pressing, oftentimes they get made fun of if they use the 2.5 pound weights to increase things, which they often call them washers. That's the thing, washers. Okay, there's an ad break, so I'm going to be right back. So it's about a 2.5 minute ad break, so stick around and we'll talk about another percentage. Okay. Ad break should be over. Sorry I had to change into a tank top. That way I can do a little flexing. But let's talk about our percentage. So 10%, that's not a bad idea. You could on lat pull downs, you could probably increase it by 5 pounds. That would be a 5% increase. But let's say you're doing a 7.5 pound cable curl. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, um, but the thing about cables versus let's say a normal curl is that if I have 7.5 pounds, no matter where in the movement I have 7.5 pounds of tension, whereas a traditional barbell curl, there's different amounts of tension depending on where you are in the movement. And so I actually feel that, you know. And I only do single joint exercise, again, single arm when possible. That way I don't, you know, that way in case I have a weakness it shows up. Let's say my left arm's weaker. Okay, so you have the 7 point, and the most you could increase it by is 2.5 pounds. So if you look at that, that is a 33% increase. That is a 33% increase. Now, I'm going to give you an example. And the tax rate in our town went from, I think, 1.75% to 2.75%. And all of the politicians said, ooh, that's only a 1% increase. Well, it is if you're looking at the tax rate, like the overall tax rate, it goes from 1.75 to 2.75. However, in reality, you are paying, so you actually, you know, you're paying 57% more. So those are things you want to be careful of. Think it through. Do some math. You know, because politicians are going to try to make everything sound better than they really are. You did not hear that from me, but keep in mind percentages can be manipulated. Interesting fact, did you know that percentages go up, you know, if you have a 25% increase, and then if I'm 25% decrease, doesn't cancel out. Okay. So now let's talk about cardio, not Cardi B. So cardio, you notice it says cardio plan. I'm only starting out at 3 times a week, 30 minutes. What I'm doing the minimum to get the most results. You know, you have people that go gung-ho. They're like, yeah, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get back to working out. And so they go an hour and a half on the treadmill. No, 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 no. That's like saying, I'm going to start tanning. Put me in the 30-minute level 6 super bed. You know, if you do an hour and a half of cardio, you're going to burn out really quickly because your body's not ready for that. It's like you're going from 0 to 200. So in cardio, you'll get burned out. Same thing like if you do 30 minutes in the level 6 bed for the first time, you won't get burned out. You'll get burned. But don't worry, in about 2 days, you will become appealing. I usually try to go about 70-75% max heart rate. I do use a little more complicated formula because I do take heart medicine. Heart medicine to help, you know, so my heart rate may not get up there. Also, if your body starts adapting, just change it. That's why I have these increasing cardio plans. And if you're going to do cardio, do I have some back here? Do I have them? Are they readily available? Let me just check. If they are, I'm going to bring them out. If not, nope. Oh, yes, they are. Your best tool for doing cardio. Headphones. Headphones, good. 2 reasons. First of all, You're not blaring your Justin Bieber music so that um, the 10 people around you can hear that you're a Justin Bieber fan. And also, it's kind of a way to tell people, hey, leave me alone. And don't, if someone's wearing headphones, usually it's a best idea to not approach them unless you really need to talk to them. Okay? So that's the cardio, and as I said, I do my cardio on designated days, and I always do it after my weightlifting. Because that gives me more fuel for weightlifting. Also, feel free to ask questions. You don't have to. It's optional. The eating, I do if it fits my macros. So you see, I have 2,300 calories, 173 grams of protein, 259 carbs, 64 fat. That's what I shoot for each day. Sometimes I don't quite hit the mark. I try to do my best. I also do meal prep. Right now, even if I did not touch a stove, I would say I have enough for probably about 3 or 4 days. Some of them are ready to make foods, others are, like I have some taco shells, shredded chicken, barbecue sauce, like some sugary pops. Tell you why I have those. Chips. Tell you why I have those potato chips. But as long as it fits my macros, I'm not too picky about it. That's why I like the soup here. Now, one thing you want to be careful of is nutrition label. You notice it says nutrition facts, and it says, it's blurry here, about 2.5 servings per container. So if you eat if you eat the contents inside the container, you have to multiply all the numbers by 2.5. Now, if you use an app to track your progress, like I use MyFitnessPal, hello, Mr. Spock. Welcome on in. Okay, I use that because it's good. I also like to plan ahead. Sometimes I'll plan out my whole meal for the next day. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna have 2 protein shakes. I know I'm gonna have my spaghetti with sauce. I like that. I'm gonna have then chicken and mashed potatoes, and you put them on MyFitnessPal, and it says, hey, I get about the right number of everything. So that's why I sometimes like to plan ahead. You're not eating for social reasons. Just look at eating as I need this to fuel my body. Now, does that mean you can't go to Texas Roadhouse? Nope. And I like that they even put the peanuts in bags, because it used to be when you eat the peanuts out of a bucket, you'd be like, how many peanuts did I eat? Whereas now they put them in bags, so they list the nutrition information, or for peanuts, Or for peanuts, get it the nutrition information. Remember, I like puns. So, this is not as serious as my alcohol addiction stream, so feel free to pun away. Okay, now, let's say your trainer tells you to get 40 grams of protein. Okay? And you go to your local store and maybe like let's say NutriShop, maybe Vitamin World, GNC. I used to work at GNC for 7 years, so I may be a little bit partial to them. However, I'm just going to say this. For supplements, I only buy certain things from GNC. Other things I buy from like Kroger or Target, where they're a lot cheaper. Okay, so you want 40 grams of protein. Okay, so you get this. So this is GNC 100% whey protein. Okay, and you look at the label. It says 24 grams of protein. So what do? What do you do? This is what you do. Sorry, Okay, so this is what you do. So if you want to do the grams of powder, you essentially take 40 grams or whatever you desire, divided by the protein per serving, and you multiply it by the grams per serving. The grams of powder. Okay, so let's see. So 40 grams divided by 24 grams, because that's how much there is per serving. 24 grams per serving. And we go to the supplement facts. It says 1 scoop is 33.8 grams. Now I'm going to just say something. I do weigh my protein because, let's just say, how can I say this nicely? 1 scoop is not, so we do 40 divided by 24 times 33.8. And so, according to my calculations, for the GNC brand, you need about 56 grams of powder. And so if you see a protein that says, hey, we have 50 grams of protein per serving, check out the serving size, because if, let's say, a scoop is 35 grams, There is no way that you can get 50 grams of protein, 50, out of a 35-gram scoop of powder. No way. So be careful of that. Look at, as I say, I use about 40 grams because I have my protein shake first thing in the morning and before I go to bed. And I like protein shakes because my protein shake brings all the no, sorry. I don't want to get in trouble with the DMCA. Don't want any trouble with the D. Okay, be careful, Moody, or YouTube's gonna copyright that, strike that. And by the way, if you think that one scoop is always going to be 33.8 grams, so that's why I tend to weigh out my food. I weigh out my food a lot. I mean, I weigh out my spaghetti. I weigh out my chicken, make sure the portions are right. And that's actually a way to save money. Because a lot of these stores, they advertise, and I'll get to your question, Mr. Spock, in a little bit. Questions are welcome. They do these 100-calorie snack packs. And they try to charge an arm and a leg for them because there's individual packaging. Well, make your own. Say, okay, if I'm going to put in some chips, let's make it 150 calories. Okay, that's 27 grams of chips. Even though I'm in the US of A, I'm still using metric, being a science person. And you can make those on your own. Get a big bulk bag of chips. Now, flavors of protein shakes. Any favorites? How good do they taste? Well, I'm not a chocolate person, okay? I'm one of those 3% of people that probably is not a fan of chocolate. I'll eat it if I have to. Of course, I'm one of the 2% of people that can function without coffee, so enough said. I tend to like strawberry and banana flavorings. If they have a peanut butter, I'm going to just say this. If you say the word peanut butter, I'm not walking, I'm running right to you. I just love peanut butter. And that also can be used in a shake, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to, I found that this is about the best tasting. This is a creamy strawberry flavor. In my opinion, I think it's very good. I forget there was another ready to drink. I think it was called Isopure, and they had these like different flavors. And honestly, every time I drank one of those, I just literally got the runs. You also want a protein powder that mixes well. I use whey, but you can use other. There's soy. If let's say you're a vegan, I think there's even a pea protein. Make sure that usually products that are vegan have a special label on it, little label that says certified vegan. I know they used to, because I talked to customers who'd be like, I want something, vegan, and I'd be like, I'd grab the protein. Okay, last thing about eating, water. Water. Sometimes you see these people in the gym, they have these gallon jugs. I'm just wondering, my question, I'm just wondering how much how much time they take out of the day to number one in the bathroom. But you need and as I said, keep finding a protein that has a good taste. And I'm actually lucky because I can mix mine with water. I've actually tweaked the amount of water and amount of powder so that it tastes good even with water. But yeah, and also keep in mind price. You know, if you're getting a protein powder that's like that's like $60, but it only has enough 40-gram servings to last you a week and a half. Okay. So I think now we're gonna get to the fun part. Not yet. I'm gonna talk about a few things. The gym I go to, I'm gonna give you a hint. The gym that I go to, apparently the only paint they could find to paint the place, the only colors was purple and yellow. So I think you know which gym I'm talking about. Their initials, by the way, are PF. You think you know which one it is? I'm not going to shill for them, but yeah, but I think it's like $25 a month. You can actually get a black card. You know, and soccer players love that. There's like, oh, they have a black card. Cool. It's much better than a red card. But yeah, in which you can use any facility. And I asked someone somewhere what the guest. Well, yellow isn't as bad. How much it would pay if I were a guest? How much it would pay? They said $15. I do travel on occasion, so it's good to have that flexibility. So if, let's say, I want to go to Bloomington, Indiana for the day, I can hit their Planet Fitness there, and then go get a nice meal afterwards. I'll tell you if you want a good place in Bloomington. But any gym etiquette. Of course, always clean the equipment. You may not get yelled at, but there's probably going to be some gym patrons that go, "Hey, that guy, he never cleans the equipment. He must be a dirty slob. Oh yeah, I was gonna date him, but ew." See where I'm going with this? Also, if people are like doing an exercise where it's clear they're looking in the mirror, don't block their view. Do whatever you can not to block their view. If they like to see themselves in the mirror, let them know. But what they're doing, they're not saying, "Oh, look, I'm so cute. I'm so cute." Or like, someone's like, "Oh yeah, look at me, I'm so buff. Here, I'm going to get in the mirror so people can check me out, yeah." Also, dumbbells. Step away from the rack, okay? You're in front of let's say you're right in front of the rack, and you're blocking the 35s, and someone needs those 35s. That's not nice. Cell phones. Everyone uses them. Just be careful. Make sure no one's trying to creep a picture of you. Ew. Creeper. And I've seen people use them in the locker room. I'm sorry, Planet Fitness, but for cell phone use, you get an F. I'm not complaining, but you actually have. And by the way, Planet Fitness, if you think it's going to be super fancy, they tend to cater to the beginners. So the one I go to, I think only has like one leg press machine, and it doesn't even have any flat benches designed for bench press. You have to like use like a Smith machine where you have to like get in and adjust. Now, one thing I'm about to show you is I'm going to pull up my shirt, flex my stomach. Okay, it's tight. I'm going to turn this way. Now, do you see how my stomach seems to be sticking out a little bit? See my stomach? It's sticking out a little bit. Okay. That's, believe it or not, that a fair amount of that is not fat. Notice in my title I put 41 days sober. My liver is still damaged. And so what I need to do is my stomach, my capacity isn't as good because it takes longer for food to empty through my stomach, which is actually a lot better than it used to be. I mean, 7 days after I stopped drinking, I could barely just drink like 8 ounces of water. But hopefully over time my liver is slowly going to to shrink. And my doctor said you need to get calories. So that's why I go for calorie dense things like potato chips, the sugary snacks. It's not going to be something permanent. And by the way, this is a lifestyle change because what working out does is it prevents me from going back to old habits. Going back to old habits of drinking. Okay. Now, the part I think that this is the best part is how do you measure progress? How do you measure progress? And remember, the joke used to be progress is the opposite of Congress. Okay. I'm gonna have to adjust the window a little bit. Okay. I'm adjusting the window just so it can get. No, not that way. Okay. Well, wait a minute. I can expand this a good deal. Okay. Let's expand it even more. Okay. Okay, good. Now, by the way, this is from last year. These are my, and so what I do is I actually always take body measurements. And I do body measurements about every 4 weeks. Because if you're working out, if you're like doing weight training, you also need to make sure am I losing muscle. Now, there's this cool thing called, I think it's called the InBody. It does a wonderful job of really analyzing where the fat is on your body and tells you how much fat is like in your arms, etc. So last year my neck was 17, chest almost 50, bicep about 15 and a half, forearm 12 and a half, thigh 22, right calf 17. So those are my normal measurements. And I weighed about 230. Okay? Waist was about 42. Navel was about 46. So that was about a year ago. Okay, now let's pull up where I am right now. Okay, so let's do window capture. Okay. Really? Okay, there, that's better. Okay, so this is this year. So if you look at my weight, you will notice that my weight when I started was 198, and next week it went down 2 pounds. Woot woot. Now next week it went up. It went up 0.2 pounds. Now you may be wondering, and by the way, these other things are like calories burned. They're not important. So my weight increased from this day to this day. Now the question is, how worried am I about it? Well, my fat decreased a little bit, which not bad. Um, but what we're gonna do now is now we're gonna look at the measurements. So now we're gonna look at the measurements. Okay, I need to readjust here. Okay, I need to readjust here. Okay, here let's just do full screen. What is that? Okay, I don't know what this picture is, but if I next time I'll try to be like, sorry, I'm taking a little time to get this going, but okay. So let's look at my starting measurements. Okay, so my waist is 37 and a half. Now that is down significantly. My weight is down significantly. Now, and my navel is down significantly. And you may all be thinking, woot woot. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so what we're going to do is, getting close to the end, I'm going to pair measurements. So you see my weight's down a good bit. This is kind of a summary page because I measure weight once a week, but waist and navel are only every other week. So if you look at my waist, you see that I'm actually down a 1/4 inch. So that I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Now notice my navel is down 3/4 of an inch. Woohoo! That could be partly maybe I'm losing fat there, or maybe maybe perhaps I'm also my liver shrinking a little bit. Okay, so now this is now the bad news. This is on October 9th. Notice my neck. 2022 it was 17. Here it's only about 15 and a half. Chest is down about 5 inches. It's about 44. Right bicep, I lost 2.5 inches. It's 13. The right forearm's only 11. And hips, I need to redo this. That's not right. Okay, now what happened? Why did I seem to shrivel up into nothing? Well, what happened towards the end of my drinking, my liver was really getting swelled. And it swelled to the point where I really could not, where my digestive system did a very poor job of emptying. And so the most I could drink, there were some days I couldn't even eat. My stomach literally, I'm not sure if my stomach shrank or if it was literally took 10 years to empty. So that not eating, it did help me lose weight, but guess what? I also lost some muscle. So that right now, that's why I'm trying to get more calories so I can get my metabolism back. And so I'm not that's why I'm not really tracking calories right now. I'm kind of tracking protein up here because I know, like, I have everything portioned out. Chicken, I know how much I need. Spaghetti and grated cheese, know how much I need. Cottage cheese, same thing. I weigh it out. I actually spilled some cottage cheese on my upper leg, and now I have cottage cheese thighs. Boo! But same thing with some of the other foods. I know how much I need. Like I have English muffin sandwiches in there. 2 of them have about 36 grams of protein. On the English muffins, if you want to cut a lot of fat, remove the top, because I hear there's a lot of fat in muffin tops. Boo. Okay. Now, don't go yet, because I'm gonna raid someone. I'm gonna raid someone who's but I do want to end with this. I do want to end with this, and I'm gonna go. Let me make some room here, cause okay. Here I have a bunch of jeans. Here's some jeans. Here's more jeans. Guess what? 1/4 inch. 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 1/ I can't wear any more of those jeans because if I try them on, if I wear them, literally my pants or my jeans are probably gonna like sag so much. The jeans waist is gonna be around my ankles, and it's to the point that a belt cannot help anymore. I mean, that most of that success was from the drinking, but now it's up to me to continue that success. And it's also up to me to continue the sobriety. And I'm starting to feel that I have the support of kind of made talk to people about it in like in various forms, some of my viewers and whatnot, and I get the feeling that and also I feel I'm actually getting, I think I'm getting more love from Twitch, I don't know a lot of people here, rather than even parents, even my parents and my siblings. It's right now I won't get into details, but and that honestly I think y'all have helped me keep motivated. You've helped me like, hey, I don't want to all of a sudden disappear and have people say, "Where did Moody go?" and then 2 weeks later to find that things have been memorialized. I do have a YouTube and a Facebook. I'm just going to put those up in case you want to. I'm only going to put up the YouTube because that's where I post my videos. But I want to thank everyone. This hopefully gives you some insight. I'm going to be doing this every 2 weeks. I probably won't take the full hour in future weeks, but I wanted to give you some workout tips, at least according to my view. So, it looks we're gonna rate a retro viewer. It looks like Captain Zanzibar is playing Party Animals. So let's rate him. Party Animals is fun, but again, thank you. Tomorrow is Ultima 7. I'm not doing Wizardry 7. That's all right, Mr. Spock. Feel free to see what it is. It's whimsical. I'll just say that.
Oh, fuck. Oh, you're gonna go down too. Damn it, you got me off first. Yo, Moody Raid? Yo.
Yo, Moody Raid.
Whoa, Moody Raid? Thank you, Moody.